So are you looking for a fun and easy craft to do this weekend with your kids or just by yourself? Stay tuned and I'll show you how to make these super easy to sew card wallets. So today we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to make these really easy card wallets. So these are great because you can just throw them on a wristlet and then just wear it on your wrist when you go shopping, and then you just have to bring a debit card. And there's lots of room, so you can put cash, a couple bills in the back if you want to do that as well. And so they're a really easy project, so they're great for beginner sewers or if you just want something fun and easy to try on the weekend. So let's get started. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need some craft vinyl to make the wallet or whatever material you're going to use, a cutting mat, like a sticky mat for your Cricut machine, and you're going to need the pattern. I just printed it off so you can see it, but we're going to be using the digital pattern that you can find on my Etsy shop. You're also going to want some eyelets and the tool, a keychain, hole punch, and the snap tool. And you're also going to need a sewing machine and a needle and thread. So you just grab the vinyl and you place it onto your sticky mat. You can put it face down if you like. It's really up to you. I'm going to do face up. And I'm going to place it on the mat lengthwise, because if I place it horizontally, it's too long. It'll go over. And now it's all ready and I can load it into my Cricut machine. After you've downloaded the file, the next thing you want to do is just upload it to Cricut Design Studio. So you just go to upload, and I've already uploaded the file here, so I'm just going to select it. And here you can see all the pieces. So I'll just explain them to you. So here's the front and the back for the tab. Here is the smallest slot for the cards, the medium size, and the next size. And then this is the two back pieces. So there's a few different ways to assemble the wallet, but I'm just going to show you one way today. So now you can go to Make It. And here you can see that the pieces just arrange themselves however to fit onto the cutting mat. My fabric is wider than 10 inches. It's just around 7.5. So I'm just going to change the pieces around to fit onto the square. So here you can see the only problem is that this one piece is just too big. It just doesn't fit. Like, it's too big for the bottom and it's too big for the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a mental note of what piece it is. So it's one of the biggest, it is the biggest square for the back, so I'm just going to hide it, and I'm just going to move these around, try and maximize my fabric so that way I'm not cutting more than I have to. So now I'm just going to go to continue. So I'm just going to select my machine, and I'm going to go with heavy fabrics. You can see I've used it in the past, that's why it came up. I'm going to leave it on the default, and here are the instructions. So it says load the rotary blade and then press go. So now we're all set. So here you can see the pieces cut out. If they stick a bit in the corners, give them a little snip. So I'm just going to remove the pieces. So here you can see all the pieces cut out. So I'm just going to demonstrate how you stack them together. So you'll see that it's not a perfect square, it's more of a rectangle. So you put the longer side vertically, and then hope that you can see this, and then you just stack them largest to small, and then you just sew along the edge. Now these, you put them on top of each other. So you don't have to, but if you want them to be the same on both sides, you can, or you can just use one piece. So first we top stitch them, and then we sew them all together. And this just gets sandwiched in between the two big pieces. You just sort of eyeball the center, and then it comes down and snaps right in the middle. So now the next step is we're going to top stitch all of the pieces. So if you want to, you can pin it, but I'm just going to put the two pieces together and just hold them with my hand, and I'm just going to top stitch along the edge, and you want to have a large stitch. I have my settings at 3.5, which is quite wide, and I have my sewing machine on the slowest speed. And I'm just going to eyeball the margin. I'm just going to use a reference on the foot. So I'm just going to sew along the top of the each pocket of the wallet. So I'm just going to So here you can see I just sewed along the top of each pocket. So now do that with all three of the pieces. So here you can see I've top stitched the pieces. So now you want to get your front and your back aligned, and then you just stack them on top of each other. So now we're just going to, so you can hold this in place with pins, or I'm just going to carefully hold it with my hands and just sew along the edge. So just to get started, I'm just going to just do the two back pieces first, just along the top. So you can see I just backstitched and cut the thread, and now I'm going to turn it around so that the top has been top stitched, and now I'm going to do the bottom. So the reason I do that is because with all the layers they do tend to shift, so this way you'll get the neatest results. When you get to the edge, lift up your foot and turn it around, and now you can sew the side from the bottom to the top. So here you can see that the bottom, the side, and the top is done, and we just have to do the bottom. And the reason you want to do that is because it's best to sew from the bottom to the top so that the fabric lies flat. So you can do this before you sew everything up. You can wedge the tab in, or you can do it after. I'm just going to do it after just because I find it easier to keep it centered that way. So you can use a seam ripper, but I can't find mine, so I'm just using an X-Acto knife. And so now I'm just going to put the very edge in. You just want it to be around like that. You could also sew it on the outside. That could be a nice detail. So just eyeballing it, and now I'm just going to sew it in place. So here you can see the wallets all sewed up, and I just went ahead and trimmed any loose threads, and if there's a lot of overhang, then just take your scissors and carefully trim it so that the pieces match. So now I'm just going to add some snaps. I'm just using these colorful snaps to make it easy for you to see. So these are just like baby snaps, and I got these at Walmart, and I'll make sure to put a link below of all the materials that I'm using, as well as you can find them on the blog post that I'll make. So now you just want to hold the button up to eyeball it. So I want the snap to be just like around there. So I am just going to eyeball that I want the hole there. So use a hole punch and I didn't get it quite perfectly centered. I'm just going to try that again. So now how these snaps work are you put the flat part through, and then you can see there's a male and female part. Doesn't matter which one you use first. And you're going to need these. These are important, and they're worth the investment. I've used them on all of my craft projects so far. And then you just squish it, and it just squishes the plastic part in the center and holds it in place. So now you fold this down, and you're going to eyeball it again. So I want it to fall in the center, and here I can see the center is right about there. So I'm just going to use the hole punch once more. Hopefully I got that centered. It's a little off, so I'm just going to try it again. I'm just going to put the snap through, and this time, so keep in mind how the snaps work. So you want these two parts to face each other. And so that looks nice and centered. Now I take the tool and just give it a squish. So the nice thing is there's lots of room to fit the tool. You can also do this before you sew, but I find this way it's easier to get the exact center. So see, there you go. So the wallet's basically done, and you can leave it like that if you like, but we're going to take it a bit further and add some eyelets. So with these snaps, I use this really tiny one, and now we're going to use a bigger one. And these are really great craft punches. They're one of the most useful tools you can have. So I'm going to choose gold. So now just place it in the corner to get an idea of where the hole should be. So you can see it's actually quite far in. That's why you want to check it first. You know, measure twice, cut once, and then now you can hole punch. So I decided to do that off camera so that it was easy to see. And now you just press that through. And they don't always come with backs, but these ones do. So I'm going to add them because it helps get rid of it just helps to hold it in place so it doesn't get pulled through the fabric. And then you use this tool and you hammer it and it will squish the eyelets. And as you can see, it just pushes the prongs down. So now the wallet is complete. And the last step is just to put a key ring on. So this one comes with a chain, so you can put a little carabiner on the end, or you can attach it to another keychain. There's a lot of different designs out there, or you could just leave it like that and then put like a wristlet so that it hangs on your wrist. And you can also put like a tab here with fabric. There's a lot of ways to be creative with this pattern. And I'd love to see what you do with this pattern. So make sure to leave a comment below with all of the great ideas that you came up with. And you can find the link in the description below for the pattern, for the SVG file, and also to the blog where I'll have more instructions. And thanks for watching and have a great day.